All right, let's dive into an absolutely incredible business story. We're talking about a tale of genius innovation, near total collapse, and ultimately global domination that starts in, well, probably the last place you'd ever expect.
So this is the big question we're going to unravel today. I mean, it sounds kind of crazy, doesn't it? How on earth do you go from making machines that weave cloth to building cars that are driven on every continent? The answer is just this amazing mix of vision, philosophy, and, yeah, a little bit of good luck.
So, here's how we're going to break it all down. First, we'll look at the company's super strange beginnings. Then we'll navigate through its absolute darkest days. After that, we'll see the birth of its legendary philosophy, watch it take over the world with one little car, and finally look at its legacy and what the future might hold.
Okay, let's jump in. Our story doesn't start on a noisy factory floor making cars. No, it starts in a textile mill. This wasn't just some small shift in strategy. It was a pivot so huge it would literally reshape modern industry as we know it.
You know what's so wild is how one brilliant idea directly paid for the next. It starts in 1924 when the founder, Sakichi Toyoda, perfects this game-changing automatic loom. Just 5 years later, he sells the patent for it, and that cash? That became the seed money for his son, Kiichiro, to go chase a totally different, much crazier dream, building cars. By 1936, they were doing it. Their first car, the Model AA, was officially rolling off the line. And here's the really crucial part. The DNA of Toyota's future success was basically programmed into those original looms. Sakichi Toyoda came up with this principle he called jidoka. It meant his loom would automatically stop itself if a single thread broke. Think about that. It's this idea of intelligent automation, empowering a machine to spot a problem and stop, preventing a defect right at the source. That single idea would become a cornerstone of the entire Toyota production system.
And hey, here's a great piece of trivia for you. Ever wonder why it's Toyota and not Toyoda, like the family's name? Well, Toyota literally means fertile rice paddies. When they started the car company, they actually held a contest for a new logo. The name got changed to Toyota for 2 reasons. One, in the Japanese script, it takes 8 brushstrokes to write, and 8 is a very lucky number. And 2, it just sounded a little cleaner and looked simpler. Pretty smart branding, right? But all that early optimism, it didn't last. The company was about to enter its absolute darkest chapter. I mean, Toyota's survival was never a sure thing. It was literally forged in the twin crises of a world war and the very real threat of going completely broke.
So, like a lot of big industrial companies at the time, when World War II broke out, Toyota's whole mission changed overnight. Forget passenger cars. The assembly lines were completely retooled to build trucks, often super simplified ones, sometimes with just one headlight, all to support the Japanese military.
And when the war ended, things were catastrophic. Toyota's factories had been bombed, Japan's economy was in absolute ruins, and by 1949, the company was barely making a few hundred trucks a month. They were right on the brink of total bankruptcy.
And this is just one of those moments where you see history turn on a dime. Just as Toyota was about to go under, the Korean War starts in 1950. All of a sudden, the U.S. military, which was occupying Japan, needed thousands of trucks, and they needed them yesterday. They put in an order with Toyota for over 5,000 vehicles. That one order, that single contract, was the lifeline that pulled the company back from the edge.
So, after being saved from the brink, Toyota didn't just get back to business as usual. Oh no. That near-death experience forced them to rethink literally everything. And what came out of it was a manufacturing and management philosophy that would become the gold standard for the entire world.
In that very same year, some of Toyota's top executives took a trip to the United States that would change everything. They trained at Ford, the company that invented the assembly line, and they visited tons of other American factories. But here's the key. They weren't there to just copy what they saw. They were there to learn, and more importantly, to figure out how to improve on what the world's biggest industrial powerhouse was doing. And what they built was the Toyota Production System, or TPS. You've probably heard of it as lean manufacturing or just-in-time production. The goal was pretty radical. Eliminate every single bit of waste. We're talking wasted time, wasted materials, wasted movement, everything. It was a complete revolution in how to think about making things with perfect quality and maximum efficiency. And this whole system is built on 2 pillars that sound simple but are incredibly powerful. They became known as the Toyota way. The first is Kaizen, which means continuous improvement, the idea that you're always looking for a better way to do something. The second is respect for people.
Now, this was a huge deal back then. Unlike the top-down American factories where workers were just cogs in a machine, Toyota empowered every single employee to be a problem solver who could help make the company better.
Okay, so with this powerful new philosophy in place, Toyota was ready to go global. This next chapter is all about how the company decided to take on the biggest, toughest market in the world, America, with a little, unassuming car that was about to make history.
But getting into the US market was not easy. For starters, they had a major perception problem with the name itself. Their very first American sales administrator had to tell his bosses point blank that to American ears, Toyota sounded just like toy, and toys are cheap things that break. They had a massive mountain to climb to earn respect. Meanwhile, back in Japan, the world was changing fast. The post-war economic miracle was taking off. A whole new middle class was growing, and they needed cars. Not giant fancy cars, but practical, affordable, and most importantly, super reliable cars. And that just happened to be Toyota's specialty. And this is the car that met that need perfectly. The Toyota Corolla. It came out right when people were getting fed up with big, gas-guzzling American cars that had all sorts of quality problems. The Corolla was the perfect answer. It was simple, crazy fuel efficient, and built with that incredible quality from the Toyota production system. It became a global smash hit and eventually the best-selling car in the history of the world.
And get this number. It just shows you how fast all this happened. By the end of the 1960s, mostly thanks to the success of the Corolla, Toyota had already exported its 1 millionth vehicle. The little company that was almost dead just a decade earlier was now a serious global force. Okay, let's fast forward and bring this story into the modern day. After reaching the absolute top of the car world, Toyota is now facing a completely new set of challenges in an industry that's changing faster than ever. But first, let's just pause for a second and absorb this number, 300 million. That's how many cars and trucks Toyota had built globally by late 2023. It's a number that's almost impossible to wrap your head around, and it just shows you the unbelievable impact this company has had on the world.
So Toyota's modern identity is a little complicated. On one hand, they were absolute pioneers with the hybrid Prius way back in 1997. But today, they've gotten some criticism for being slow to go all in on fully electric cars. Instead, they're kind of hedging their bets, continuing to invest heavily in hybrids and even hydrogen fuel cells, thinking the future might not be just one single technology.
And that really brings us to the big final question. This is a company that pivoted once, from looms to cars, and completely changed the world. It pioneered hybrid tech when nobody else would touch it. So can this industrial giant, a company built on the idea of constant improvement, pivot again to lead the next 100 years of the automobile? Well, that's the big question, isn't it?